Assassin's Promise by Thomas Woodward. Chapter 11. Kane slowly left the room. He had been careful to watch the boy leave, ensuring he would have no prying eyes on him for what would come next. The scabbard was cool against his flesh under his shirt. He could feel the deep pulse like miniature drum beats falling in time with the beating wind against the windows of the building. Running his hand over the metallic surface through his shirt, he ached to use the blade again. His hand could already feel cold against it. He had to be careful to wear a thick enough shirt to protect him from the freezing properties of the blade itself. The heavy alloy sheath blunted most of its effects, but nothing could truly contain it fully. His blood pounded with the thrill of the chase to come. With alacrity, he silently moved from the room, no more than a pale specter in form and sound. He had chosen this spot for a reason. He had not wanted any more attention than absolutely necessary from the villagers. This would be a perfect spot for his purposes. Exiting out a bolt hole in the back of the building, he slid a rotting beam back into place, masking the entrance. Heaps of refuse were piled high in this alleyway, but even homeless wretches would steer clear of the area. They knew better. This was a safe house for his guild of assassins. They had them secreted all over the continent in various towns and cities. They enjoyed trespassers, but one of their members passing through often left a string of bodies in their wake. Not as a threat, simply out of pure enjoyment for the unexpected company. The thought warmed Kane's heart. A ghost of a smile graced his lips as he nimbly picked his way through the alleyway. The buildings were built far too close in this poor area of town, and lines of clothes were often strung between windows from one building to the next, high above the street. Windows were kept shuttered and bolted, even during the day. People learned that even high as they were above the town, open entrances to their homes could bring unwanted visitors. The occasional death was often written off as a simple mistake, someone who must have accidentally fallen when putting out their clothes. Kane knew the truth. When a person was of high or low social status, it did not matter to him who fell under his blade. No one escaped the judgment of one of the blind acolytes in the end. He had been wise to keep his tattoo hidden to view. A smiling blind man, eyes stabbed out, was inked into his flesh on the underside of his right arm, where it folded over his armpit. The pain he had felt during the inking had been wonderful. He burned with each moment he had been under the needle. Pulling a cord from inside of his cloak, he flexed his fingers in anticipation. One worry clouded his mind. There had been a watcher, here in the middle of the desert. Nothing stopped them once they locked onto a signal. He had never seen it, of course, but he had felt its auguring bronze gaze on his back after entering the town hours ago. The creatures were mindless, but no less terrible for what they were capable of. It had been said that no one living had seen one. The ones who had did not live long afterward. No one knew what they looked like, only hearsay that had been heard from others who claimed to have seen something. That was what has made them so dangerous. Grown adults dismissed the wives' tales told to children each night that they would be taken away by a watcher if they were disobedient. Most people thought they were only legends. Kane knew otherwise. Sharply turning a corner, Kane moved with a casual air, hunching over slightly and matching the pace of the crowd of passerby on the main thoroughfare. Kane bided his time, moving slowly, seeming nothing more than an old man weary from his travels. Kane mentally retraced the map in his mind. Without looking up, he moved towards the side of the street on his left, past the main market square. There had been a fountain years ago, before some of the wells had run dry, and the cracked remnants of fanciful sea creatures carved into the stone could be seen under some of the stonework that had been built up over the old fountain. No water came forth now. Water was scarce. Rumors had said that another of the wells had gone dry this past spring, and the town elders had kept the news from the villagers for fear of a riot. Times were bad. Simple arguments between townsfolk could become deadly if widespread fear of a drought got out. People would turn to old rivalries and exact vengeance amid the chaos. Kane moved stealthily, barely making a sound as he glided like a revenant over the cobblestones of the alley. A washerwoman turned from folding clothes and gave a start when she saw him before scurrying away into a home, bolting the door heavily behind her. Kane smiled to himself. He must have forgotten to mask his expression. He had shown too much of his excitement. No matter, the prey was close, and his nostrils flared with adrenaline. Like a silent arbiter, he sped towards a decrepit house at the far end of the alley. He felt the pulse of the shadow blade quicken in time to match his heartbeats. His mismatched eyes were piercing in the hot, dry air. The bleak doorway had been locked from the inside, but fell easily to his touch. After a moment, he moved like a shadow through the doorway, breath cold as frost. The cord or the blade? A question that often pleasantly tugged at him. He laughed softly and strode forward into the gloom. Hi everyone. If you've been enjoying my content and you'd like to support my channel, you can do so at patreon.com/authorsprocess. And it would mean a great deal to me to be able to keep bringing you great content and sharing it with you on multiple platforms. Here is the page that you will see if you choose to support me. And on this page, you will be able to choose what membership level you could support at. Again, only if you choose to. But we have the initial level dedicated to the arts, and then lover of the arts, patron of the arts, and grand patron of the arts. So what you will receive is early access to my content, and then at the higher levels, your name will be listed at the end of each of my videos in a special thanks section. So again, please consider it. It would mean a great deal to me. And thank you so much again. Even if you're unable to support monetarily, just viewing my content is great support as well. So thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate you.